Let me also encourage Ajay Bodke to join in here. Ajay Bodke is Head of Investment Strategy with Prabhudas, Lilladher. Ajay, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Ajay, let me construct three scenarios and then you tell me how markets could react to each of these scenarios. Scenario number one, which is RBI obliges the majority with a 25 bips rate cut. Scenario number two, RBI surprises everyone with a 50 bips rate cut. And scenario number three, we don't get a 25 or a 50 bip rate cut. In fact, more than a surprise, RBI disappoints today.
I think the most likely scenario is the first one, and the market, in our view, has already discounted that. We are expecting the Reserve Bank to cut repo rates by 25 basis points, and it might keep the CRR unchanged. I think the commentary from the RBI yesterday is a clear pointer that they still remain concerned about two issues. One is the runaway increase in the current account deficit, which the market is expecting to be around 6% level for the quarter ending December, on the back of 5.4% for the quarter ending September. This is a cause for great concern within the within the RBI circles. And second is not just the control of fiscal deficit, which the finance minister has given an ironclad commitment to confine it to 5.3% of GDP, but the quality of that fiscal deficit, how you achieve that 5.3%, is also important. In his roadshows abroad, the FM has categorically given an assurance to international investors that the fiscal deficit would come down by 60 basis points every year from next financial year onwards over the next 3 years. However, how do you achieve it is also of importance. If you are going to achieve it through large amounts of disinvestment proceeds or one-off items like sale of spectrum, then I think it raises a question about sustainability of control of fiscal deficit. What is important is you must control subsidies, and at the same time you need to increase capital expenditure. This year what we would be seeing is that there will be cuts in both planned expenditure as well as marginal control in subsidies, which we need to reverse. We need to ensure that the phased rationalization of fuel prices, we have seen a very marginal increase of 50 paisa last month. We need to see that this sustains over the next 8 to 10 months in such a manner that the diesel prices come in line with the international prices, and there is absolutely no movement on controlling subsidies on LPG as well as on kerosene, which Kelkar committee had clearly spelled out a roadmap over 2 years how to ensure that LPG subsidies are brought to zero by end of FY15, and a third of kerosene subsidy remains, but the rest is again phased out over 2 years. So these issues are what are concerning RBI, and the pace and extent of rate cuts from RBI will clearly be determined based on the signals that it receives from the finance ministry about controlling subsidies.
Okay, hold on to that thought. We'll take a very quick break.
Hurricane Sandy, that one-time effect will not be there in Jan to March quarter, and we will see some amount of quarter-on-quarter improvement, which again will give momentum to earnings growth.
Well, it's a big day for numbers. Two Nifty 50 companies which are due to declare numbers today. Well, you could Sterlite Industries and then Idea. From Sterlite Industries, expectations are not all that large, but from Idea, expectations are slightly high. And from Idea, market men are of the view that for the quarter gone by, we could see a decent improvement in the operating profit margins. From the mid-cap space, you've got United Phosphorus, which is due to declare numbers. You've got Dabur India, which is due to declare numbers. To a large extent, Blue Dart of late has also become an important mid-cap stock. And then L&T Finance Holding. For the quarter gone by, L&T Finance Holding has been a marked outperformer, and L&T Finance Holding as a stock has got completely re-rated after the new banking amendment bill was passed on the floor of Parliament. Of late, at least when I say of late, in last 10-15 days, the stock has done precious little, but for L&T Finance Holding to sustain a price of 85 rupees, apart from this hope that they will get a banking license soon, there needs to be some delivery. Ajay, what are your thoughts on Sterlite Industries and Idea? They both are due to declare numbers today.
In case of Sterlite Industries, we are expecting a top line growth of around 6.9%. We are expecting a top line of 10,957 crores for the current quarter. On the EBITDA level, we are expecting the EBITDA to decline by 7% on a quarter-on-quarter basis to 1.7 billion rupees. On the bottom line, we are expecting a 4.6% YOY increase in Sterlite to around 1,254 crores.
Nilesh, even the private banks are looking expensive right now. Why do you prefer them over PSUs?
If we see the historical experience of public sector banks vis-a-vis private sector banks, clearly private sector banks have outperformed public sector banks over the last 10, 15, 20 years. Second, if we see some of the sectors where private and public enterprises have been put into competition, the conflicting objectives which PSU enterprises have to meet in terms of investor protection as well as consumer service, vis-a-vis the efficiency which private sector enterprises generate, has resulted in better outperformance for private sectors. In the aviation sector, we have seen private sectors outperforming public sector. In telecom sector, the same story has been repeated, and financial services will not be different. I'm not suggesting that the PSU banks will not be able to deliver positive return to the investors. Certainly they will deliver positive return to the investors, but investors will reap better return by overweight private sector banks and non-banking financial services.
Ajay, the Axis Bank QIP has got a resounding response. So they've managed to raise little over 5,000 crore in a matter of hours. What does that indicate? Euphoria or demand for private banking paper?
I think it essentially demonstrates, I think, the great quality of management that Axis has demonstrated under Ms. Shikha Sharma. I think also the issue has sort of been relatively attractively priced. I think 2 or 3 issues stand out in case of private sector banks in general and Axis and ICICI in particular. That is the robust asset quality in an environment in which there has been mixed asset quality trends in case of many public sector banks. And the second is the fact that their margins sort of have remained firm. So I think these 2 issues make us very positive on both ICICI Bank and Axis Bank in the medium term.
Okay, Ajay, let you go on that note. Good to have you on the show as always. Let's quickly tell you what Deepak Mohani though is recommending in trade today, and here are his stock ideas. He's got 2 buy calls in Asian Paints as well as Yes Bank, and he recommends selling off the circuits today. These are of course intraday ideas coming in from him. What about the BNSN stock game participants though? Let's take a look at their portfolios in day 2. Ashish Maheshwari, buy calls in Axis Bank, Mahindra Satyam, Sun TV as well as DLF. Siddharth Chatterjee, buy calls on USL, Dabur, Mindtree and Divi's Labs. Sanjeev Jain has a solitary buy call on Purvankara, and